Hi, I'm Dave. You can't help to have noticed about the riots that are going on, not just in Berlin with Tesla, but there are similar things, not necessarily even with Tesla, that are happening around the world. And I do just question, what is it that drives people to riot? I'm Dave. Welcome to Dave Takes It On, and stick around while we dive into exactly what I think is going on. So if we look at Berlin, this has been covered to death. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but a few miles down the road, there's an open cast coal mine. So these people are attacking a Tesla factory. And you've got to question the logic behind that if they're interested in saving the environment, surely you go after the coal mine, not Tesla. If you're interested in having a better future, surely you look at cleaning up the planet, and electric cars do less pollution. If your issue is water, which they seem to quote all the time, the coal mine uses a massive, orders of magnitude more water than Tesla ever does. And if you look at the devastation to the environment of an open cast coal mine compared to a modern factory with some trees still around, then there's no comparison. So it baffles me why they want to do it. And this all comes back really to people being wound up about one specific thing, accepting it as true, and then dedicating your life to fighting for it, and never really taking the time to check whether it was true. There are loads of examples of this. We've had it all over the place in the UK. We've had our people living up in trees and everything, and they all seem to be fighting for a cause. But while I agree with the freedom to be able to fight for a cause, that should not involve physical fighting. When a belief turns into fighting, or in this case, mob rule, then the society is in serious trouble. And here I do hold the German police and the German legal system directly accountable for this. They knew this was going to happen. They could have prevented it. They could have banned it. Instead, they allowed it to happen. They allowed the rioters or protesters, whatever they brand themselves as, they allowed them into the Tesla land, private land, and they allowed them to get really close to the factory and do some significant damage. A number of cars were burnt. So what was going on in the German police mind when they allowed all these rioters into the Tesla estate, if you like to call it? And you got to think that they were under instructions not to provoke things. And unfortunately, history will show, particularly in Germany, that if you get someone who is prepared to use violence to get his or her aims thrust upon society when nobody else really wants them, Germany's a classic example. Do they want to go down that road? Do they really want to let mob rule dictate their political agenda? Let's say these people succeeded and they drove Tesla out of Germany. It is not impossible, not with the German police attitude, the way it is at the moment. But what if they succeeded? Let's say Tesla decides, that's it, we've had enough, shut down the factory, we'll go somewhere where we're wanted. What you have then is a horrible situation where Tesla was a major employer. Thousands and thousands of people have got jobs there. You can argue whether they're well paid, should be unionised, everything else, but they've got secure, well-paid jobs. They are producing a product which is much in demand in Germany as well as elsewhere in the world. And from Germany, they would export cars to other European countries. So this is a major, major boost for the German economy. That location, that mega factory, gigafactory, is actually a benefit to the German people, the German society, the German economy. And yet a few hundred people can destroy it because they don't like it. This, to me, whatever the subject, Elon or whatever, this is wrong. You should never have a violent mob being able to dictate German government policy, German government economy, just because a few hundred people decide that that is what they think is the best thing for Germany. It obviously isn't. To drive out the Tesla factory, and it could still close down. I don't know. I suspect it won't, but it could still close down. What would that do for the economy of Germany? The people who were relying on the jobs there, the suppliers who are, because Tesla always sources locally where it can, the good it gives to society, the car industry, everything, just because a few hundred terrorists, I call them, decided to fight back against it and impose their wishes, their will, their diktat, their ethics or whatever onto us. So what I'm saying to Germany is, why are there no mass arrests?